on a unique adventure in a part of Texas that was once in Mexico. Can you tell? But while in the market square, I sensed the whiff of something sweet, and for me, it's like a red rag to a bull.
I love these churros. The Americans have got their donuts, but these are fabulous. Now the batters can vary. Some people say it's like choux pastry. I prefer like a donut batter, really, a liquefied donut batter. And if you haven't got one of these at home, you can actually make it with a piping bag and a pair of scissors. But the key to it is the hot oil, and it needs to be really hot. This is about sort of 450, something like that, really, really hot. And then they're rolled in sugar and spices, and they're always usually served with a dip. Just made that look easy. Thank you. These are what we're talking about. They're not like a donut, they're not soft as a donut, but what they are is they taste delicious. Oh, especially when they're warm like this. Crispy, and then take the sauce, caramel, and dunk them in. Got
That sauce is just so good. And I've used its sweet inspiration to make a cake nearly as good as those churros. Get the kettle up.
Now, Americans love their cakes and desserts, and this is a fusion of two, really, recipes. One of which is a dipping sauce from Mexico, the other one is a classic American pound cake. Now, you need a large pan for this, and you have to use goat's milk. Don't use any semi-skimmed stuff either. It's got to be full-fat goat's milk. Then, fair amount of sugar that's going to go in, castor sugar. And then we add cinnamon. This is the predominant flavour from this. And what you need to do is break these cinnamon sticks up. 4 to 5 sticks of cinnamon. Now this is quite a strong sauce. It's quite intense in terms of its flavour, but the cinnamon will give it the colour. A little bit of vanilla essence. You can put a vanilla pod in there if you want. Get this heating up. Now, you need to pay attention for this bit. Get yourself a whisk. And this is why we use a large pan. There's only a small amount of liquid in here, but the large pan is quite crucial because this next bit is baking powder. And what happens to this, as soon as it hits the warm liquid, it puffs up. And straight away, you'll actually see it start to rise up, as this is doing now. Keep whisking it. You'll see it rise even more. It'll almost go up tenfold. And then as you whisk it, after about a minute or two, it'll simmer down. That baking powder will sort of die off. And then it's all about simmering this sauce into the right colour. And that will give you the consistency. So while that's happening, we can get on and do our pound cake. It uses butter and sugar. Almost equal quantities of everything, really. Sugar goes in. And we start to whisk this up with a paddle with just a bit of vanilla. All the while, keep your eye on what's happening here, because this will still start to expand. And you can see it's actually starting to rise up now, look. If you want to gently simmer it, because the amount of sugar that's in here, if you rapidly boil it too quickly, it'll catch on the bottom and burn. Now while our butter and sugar is whisking away there, we can prepare our mould. For that, I'm just going to have some butter. These are what the Americans call a bundt tin. It's basically a savran mould, really. Ideally, you want one that's non-stick, because they can be quite tricky to cook in, and particularly to turn out. And the reason for the hole in the centre, so it cooks nice and evenly, if you were to fill this full, the inside would never be cooked before the outside is kind of ruined. But it also gives you a hole where you can put the filling. So once you get to that stage, a little bit of apple, slice them on a mandolin, or you can use a sharp knife. I do this because it makes the edges squeak. So with the apples, place them around the edge. What you don't want to be doing is covering this entire cake with apples, because the amount of liquid and steam will unbalance the recipe. So you've basically got them in the bottom of the mould. Just going to leave that to one side. Meanwhile, finishing off our cake mix. Now we can break our eggs in, one at a time. I've got 4 medium eggs for this. Mix in one first of all before you add the other. Once all the eggs are in, we can then concentrate on our flour. I've got self-raising flour here, and then once you add the flour, really keep your eye on the machine. What you don't want to be doing is beating this too much, because if you overwork the flour, the cake becomes a little bit tough. Very fast, for a short amount of time is the best way. There you have your classic sponge mixture, really. And then you grab your nice cake mix, pop it in. So with a sponge, press this down so it's nice and even. Because it's got the apples in there, a little tip, drop it. It pushes it all down to the base, and then all we need to do is set the oven at about 170, 180 degrees. This needs to cook now for about 45 minutes to an hour. Now I've got one that I've been cooking, which is here. So just to tip this out, you get this amazing caramelized apple pieces on the top like that, and then we just lift this on here. And you can fill this with whatever you want, but what I'm going to do with this one is fill it with something delicious, and that's ice cream. So it's a good idea to allow this to come to sort of room temperature and just stuff the ice cream like that. Now I'm going to dice up a little bit of apple for this. I'm going to carry on the theme through it as well. And then it's important, while this sauce is still warm, that you actually pass it through a sieve. Look at the texture, how it's changed in terms of the colour and everything else. Press out all your bits of cinnamon. And then in the sauce now we can put our apple and some pecan nuts. Stir that together. Now this is amazing with pancakes and stuff like that, but with this, just takes it to another level. It's a dessert that makes you smile.
And with all that apple, it must contain at least one of your 5 a day. Let's not talk about the sugar content. Today I'm on a Tex-Mex adventure in southern Texas, San Antonio to be exact. It's a place steeped in Mexican heritage, thanks to the fact it used to be south of the border. And in its thriving restaurant scene, there's certainly a splash of Mexican flamboyance.
I have to say, I absolutely love this place. The colour, the vibe, and above all else, it's food. And San Antonio is so synonymous with Mexican food. And I'm off to meet a guy who's a bit of a legend in these parts when it comes to cooking, Johnny Hernandez.
And here he is, at Casa Hernon, where San Antonio's most famous chef has his very own outdoor kitchen.
Now, I've seen barbecues. This is impressive, this one.
This is where the magic happens.
So what's on the menu then, boss?
We're gonna make tamales. One with blue corn and courgette flowers, and then beef cheek.
Okay, so put me to good use then. Give me a job first of all.
Okay, these banana leaves, let's cut these.
Okay.
This will be the wrapping for our tamales. And then we'll grill them.
So I knew there was no such thing as a free lunch. I knew it. Right, so these go straight on the flame.
Yep.
And they change colour a little bit, don't they? They become a little more pliable.
Yes, they will. Become a little more pliable. They kind of come to life. They are...
You come to life if you stuck you on that barbecue, wouldn't you? Very quickly, to be honest with you.
Very quickly come to life. A little bit of that smoky flavor.
Yeah, it's lovely. I know I can see much, but you know.
Oh my gosh.
Why is it so hot in here? Why do you have to cook anything with fire? It's 110 in the shade. There you go.
Awesome. All right. The first thing we have to do for tamale making is prepare our masa, which is right here. This is the blue corn.
Okay.
This masa right here was stone ground this morning. We fold in just a little bit of shortening,
Yeah.
and this is what's gonna hold our tamale together. This is a prensa.
Okay.
You need about a 3-ounce dough ball. We drop that in the center.
Yeah.
This comes over, and then we're gonna press this, just like that. And this, right, just like that. Okay.
It makes it more authentic when you've got sweat dripping off the floor. So
We have oyster mushrooms,
yeah,
and then we have these beautiful courgette blossoms.
yeah,
We saute these with a little bit of onion,
yeah,
a little bit of the vanilla cheese,
yeah,
and then you fold this over
yeah.
to make a seal, okay? Make sure that edge is sealed nicely, and then you fold it just like that. And then this is gonna get cooked in the banana leaf. We're gonna put them right into this clay vessel, and these will be steamed here.
We'll do a few more of these while you clear off and have a look at pretty stuff in San Antonio. See you in 2 minutes.
So we have our tamales cooking.
Can we try one of these?
Yeah.
You guys like to eat over here, don't you?
Well, you know, we love food.
The mushroom one, was
Yeah.
it?
Mm-hmm.